Our gospel tonight begins with that line, and he left from that place and went. Right? Well, what is that place? Right? So we have to go back to last week. It's in Mark's gospel. What we heard last week is what comes right before the gospel tonight. And you might recall it was that story of, first of all, it was the sandwich story of healing, right? So first, the synagogue official, Jairus, came and asked for Jesus to come and heal his daughter. And on the way there, the crowds were pressing in, and the woman with the hemorrhage reached out and touched his garment. And then he went on, after saying, "Your faith has healed you," he went on to the home of Jairus and raised his daughter from the dead. It was this total stranger, the woman who had that great faith, and this synagogue official who also had this great faith. But then when he goes home, that's where he runs into people who were closed off, who could not open their minds to the one that they thought they knew. Have you ever had that experience where the people that you've known for, like, since you were a little kid, they don't really see you having changed? This summer, I'll be going home for my 40th high school reunion. Yes, I'm that old. That's what that says. Last night I was at a reception, 60th anniversary party, and I just happened to sit by somebody who is celebrating his 40th anniversary from high school, which just tells you that there was two old guys sitting next to each other at that party. But it's a good experience for me typically to go back home, even though my family members just simply, still kind of see me as David, the youngest in the family. Okay, but that's okay with me. I don't need them like coming to me for confession or anything like that. That would just be weird. Okay, but when it comes to being in your hometown, there can be that resistance. Okay, one time, so the only time I ever uninvited a youth group to come and do a service trip to Winnebago, to the Indian Mission, was the youth group from my hometown. In the conversation with the youth minister, who was a friend of mine, who, her sister was a classmate, and yeah, it's 1 degree of separation in a small town, of course. But it became clear to me that they weren't open to overcoming their ignorance. Okay? They weren't open to overcoming their ignorance. And their perception of what they had of life on the reservation, I can understand and be okay with ignorance. If you don't understand it, if you haven't been educated, if you haven't been open to learning, there's going to come with that ignorance. And so I'm okay, right? But then when you experience a lack of openness to learning and seeing things differently, it all came back to, the high school had started, Randolph had gotten so small that they had actually played Winnebago in football. And their experience with that, not of the players, but of the fans, they were reading way too much into what they experienced. And I tried to open up, and there was a resistance to that. So I went, we're just going to go ahead and see it as a okay thing for you not to come over and have this experience, because you're not letting me know that you're open to what you're going to encounter. It seems like you've already made up your mind. What Jesus encountered at his hometown was, I'm sure, something way worse than that. Right? Because what he had to offer the people there that were not open, well, I think we all know, right? I mean, the Son of God, eternal life, all that good stuff, right? That hopefully we continue to open ourselves up to. I don't think there's anybody here that would intentionally close themselves off to the love that Jesus intends for all of us, right? That would be silly, okay? But there are other ways that I think I recognize that sometimes I'm not as open as I would like to think that I am. I need to continue to do a reflection on where I am and still allowing myself to be closed. And that is something I think that is an important reminder for all of us. That's important work, that we continue to reflect on where we are resistant, where we are closed, and where we can continue to do the work of being open. Okay? We just marked our first anniversary of becoming a family of parishes, the historic 24th Street family of parishes. And I really hope that we together can continue to reflect. One of the things that I intend to bring to the parish council meeting this week is my desire that we get the representatives from both parishes, the 6 people from St. Benedict the Moor, 6 people from Sacred Heart that came together and formed the plan, that we come back together and we have a sacred conversation about where we think we are and where we have maybe been closed and where we need to recheck on our openness to go forward together. So we will hopefully be doing that, your representatives, but also I hope that all of you as parishioners within this family of parishes will do a self-check yourselves and see, where have I been open, and where do I still need to do more work in being open to all of our brothers and sisters, okay, within this family of parishes. I still believe that God has awesome things in mind for all of us. This is a wonderful opportunity that is in front of us. And so just like the family and friends gathered around Jesus in his hometown, they had a pretty awesome opportunity as well, right? But it was their closed mindedness. It was whatever that kept them from being open that Jesus walked away and said, it's not going to work here. Let's make sure that he's not going to do that with us, okay? Let's make sure that we continue to reflect on Jesus' desire for each and every one of us, to be open to his presence wherever and with whom he desires for us to receive his presence.